6.
How you
so
doing
Jacoby
this morning,
Brissett.
Miss Wilson?
What'd you say, Key?
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, Keyshawn. How are you doing?
I think we're doing good. We doing all
We
right.
worked out some
Straight.
technical difficulties. You had a lighting issue. I had a sound issue earlier. We're all here. Harry hasn't had any technical difficulties yet.
Doesn't Key look lighter? Key, you put a filter on? Like how you all of a sudden
Look lighter? What are you talking about?
I wish we could put filters on.
Then when we first started the show, everything was darker. I'm trying to figure out what's different now.
Well, they changed it. They changed the right background for me.
So you got a damn filter. That's exactly what
No,
I'm saying.
I don't need That's what I don't need.
He doesn't need a filter.
No, I
Keyshawn
promise you I
Johnson
don't
doesn't need no filter.
No.
Now, he might be filtering his pics on social media. He would have no idea because he's got an entire team of people handling his social media.
Oh,
so those
I
pictures.
see what the.
I'm just saying, there's some shirtless
Mrs.
pictures.
Wilson is talking about.
Anyways, not filtered is the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation because it's supposedly worked out right now, guys. Jacoby Brissett is supposedly the starter in Cleveland. We'll get to the Jimmy Garoppolo portion of this conversation in a second, but what's interesting is that Brissett is not playing right now in the preseason, and the Browns lost to the Eagles 21-20 yesterday. Nobody really cares about that. What they care about is that Brissett wasn't out there, and the dude who was out there in his place, in Josh Dobbs, was balling out, Key. And so Brissett not being out there is giving Josh Dobbs an opportunity here, I think, to confuse some Browns fans. He showed certainly what he could do, Dobbs did, with his legs, a dual threat quarterback. A lot of Browns fans now wondering, should there be a quarterback competition between Josh Dobbs and Jacoby Brissett? Is it silly, though, that they're not playing Brissett in the preseason? Because this is the kind of conversations that this leads to.
No, I don't think it's silly at all. They're protecting the guy who eventually will be starter in week 1 to get a better look at Joshua Dobbs. There's enough film and enough understanding in training camp and previous spots where Jacoby Brissett has been that the Cleveland Browns and Andrew Berry in the front office, along with the coaching staff and Kevin Stefanski, feel comfortable enough to rest up their starting quarterback for at least the first 11 weeks of the season. So I'm not worried about it. I think people are looking at it and saying, well, he hasn't really played much and blah, 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 and he should be in tune and in sync with the offensive plays and the players and all of those sort of things. Jacoby Brissett is a professional. He's been in the National Football League for several years. He is a professional quarterback. He knows what he needs to do. He can prepare when the regular season starts. I'm not worried about it at all. He has about a 10-day period from the end of training camp to opening day. He'll be plenty prepared.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when I first started looking into this, and it was actually last week when they played their first preseason game, and I get it, you want to have Deshaun Watson go out there. He hasn't played in over 500-something days and let him get some reps. But I thought Jacoby Brissett was going to take some reps, but he didn't, and I was okay with that. But then going into week 2 this week, this game that they had yesterday, and I didn't see him out there, I was like, I wonder what's their thinking process, because this is a guy who wasn't on the roster last year or 2 years ago either, and he just came this spring. But they have to feel very, very, very comfortable and confident in Jacoby Brissett right now to not let him go out there and play in the preseason game. The second part of that is I do agree with Key. They don't feel like they need to risk him being hurt. Next thing you know, you do have a guy like Joshua Dobbs. Not saying Joshua Dobbs can't play quarterback at a nice level, but what he's doing right now, it is during the preseason, right? And we do know when you get to the regular season, it's a different ball game, especially when you're going out there against ones-on-ones every single snap. So I agree with the Browns in this regards and not playing Jacoby Brissett, but I did have my eyebrows being raised about it early on. But I'm comfortable with them saying, you know what? We don't want to risk this guy getting hurt. This is going to be our day one guy until Deshaun Watson gets here, and we don't need him going out there getting hurt in the preseason.
Man, allow Josh Rosen and Joshua Dobbs to take the pounding and the beating. Jacoby Brissett's the main guy. So there's no,
But you guys are acting like Jacoby Brissett is some tried and tested and true quarterback here. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, they were just showing his starting experience on ESPN2. You can check us out on ESPN2. And he's already a journeyman in the NFL, in a very young NFL career. Come on.
He's not a journeyman. It doesn't look pretty,
the records that they're showing right now on ESPN2.
but okay, I could break it all the way down for you. In 2016, he was backing up Tom Brady. Then he eventually backed up Jimmy Garoppolo. Then he went 1-1 in the loss. He got hurt. Okay. In 2017, the Colts were horrible. You and I couldn't do anything for them at the height of our careers, Harry. Didn't matter. And in 2019, again, they running the same team back. Impatient, as you can see with Jim Irsay. Then they go 7-8, which is not great, which is not bad. It's just whatever it is. Then he go to the Dolphins. They got a guy in Tua. He's the backup there. He goes 2-3. That's enough for me as a head coach to understand what I have as a quarterback. I think in this league too many times, people see a quarterback pushed aside and just automatically assume, oh, he can't play, he can't do this, he can't do that. Circumstances, situations, and your surroundings will dictate what your career is going to be like at the quarterback spot. If Tom Brady didn't get the opportunity when Drew Bledsoe was knocked out by Mo Lewis, that same year, the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick was thinking quarterback in the draft at a higher level. But Tom essentially came in and he started, and it was like, okay, we don't want to disrupt anything. But if Drew Bledsoe had been the quarterback the entire season, there is no Tom Brady born before our eyes. And that could have been a mistake, or it could have been we didn't see enough at the time to pull the trigger on him. So I don't get all going crazy about a quarterback in 2 or 3 years that bounced around a little bit. This is the first time Jacoby Brissett, Mrs. Wilson, has ever played with the type of team, the offensive line, the running game, the receivers, the defense, in his entire career since the short stint in New England.
That's fine, but that's all the more reason that he needs some reps with this much better team that's actually going to be relying on him, Harry, to make a postseason, unlike the Colts on those bad Colts teams, unlike the Dolphins when we just saw him for what I think a 3-game sample size in Miami. This is a 6-year-long career so far for Jacoby Brissett. This isn't some dude who just came into the league 2 years ago. I mean, he's acting like it's a small sample size.
Well,
that's why we don't need to see him, because I already know what he is.
I will say this.
So you know he's mediocre.
I'm interested to see Jacoby Brissett with the team that he does have, because I do agree with Key in those regards, because we have not seen him with 2 solid tight ends, 2 solid running backs, an offensive line, a top 5 defense. So I'm looking forward to seeing that in those regards. At the same time, and I will say this, I wouldn't put him out there in preseason if I don't have my 1 O-line, if I don't have my 1 receivers or my 1 tight ends out there as well. If the other guys are going to be out there, then yes, I will put Jacoby Brissett out there to get a few snaps and a few series. But if the rest of those guys aren't doing it, if the rest of the ones aren't playing, then I can't risk it.
Amber, if he goes 2-5, you win. You win all day long. If he goes 2-5, you win. It ain't. I wouldn't even. Whatever. You. It's yours. You win. If he goes 2-5 with this group, you win.
Well, and the reason that you're right, and the reason that you're specifically choosing those first 7 games is because of how easy the Browns' schedule is up front, or seemingly so. But he should be winning those games.
He's going
yes,
lawyer
because of the
on
team
me.
around
Now
him.
I got it.
I'm just saying.
Lawyer on me now. I'm gonna have to redirect.
You
and then
very
come
specifically
back with a
chose 7
question.
games, Key, not the 11 games that Deshaun Watson is out for. I noticed.
You looked at the first few games, Key. Stop acting like you didn't look at the first few games.
That's exactly what you would do
I don't have
there.
the schedule in front of me.
But
you know it's very unlikely that he's only going to win 2.
Though, Key. You know what the first few games
I
are.
could win 2 of those first few games for the Cleveland Browns. But the Browns need more from Brissett than that. And, I mean, I'm a Gator. I'm not a Jacoby Brissett hater.
No, I'm not saying that you – no, I'm not saying that you are. I never said that. Don't mislead the witness. I never said that.
We will get into plenty more of Keyshawn Johnson's ability to cross-examine, which he was doing to Harry Douglas, by the way, all during the break, doing an excellent job there leading the witness. Coming up next, though.